On the contrary, he is simply sharing the information with you. And click on Dante's YouTube channel to follow along with the introduction to the Alien Races book. Dante, thanks for being with us today. Listen, you've got an incredible story to tell. You found a book called The Introduction to the Alien Races book, but before we get there, tell us a little bit about yourself, okay?
Okay. Well, my name is Dante Santori, and I'm European, and I'm 46 years old. I'm a former Airborne Special Forces sergeant, and I came across this book a few years ago, and that has been a big part of my life since then.
Yeah, I know it has. Somewhere along your life, you run into this book, and I guess it started in 2004 when you became friends with a Ukrainian guy called Petro. Is that true?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, go back and tell us that story, how you met Petro, and eventually how in 2008 you took a road trip, and the rest is history. Start from 2004.
Well, in 2004, I was living in a small town by the ocean, by the Atlantic Ocean. One afternoon, I went to a bar by the beach, and there were these Ukrainian guys talking about soccer, just general stuff. And I could understand a few things, not much, but I started talking with them just about life in general. Anyway, then me and Petro was one of them, became good friends, and he started coming to my house regularly, and we became good friends. And then in 2008, one day he called me and he said, "Hey Dante, I would like to go on this road trip because I want to visit my brother." His brother at the time was in jail in the south of Spain, and he also wanted to visit his father, which was a former diplomat from the Ukraine in Portugal. When his father retired, he stayed in Portugal, decided not to go back to the Ukraine and stay there. So that was his idea, to go visit his brother and his father. And because he knew I liked road trips, I said, sure, let's go. So we went and visited his brother in jail in the south of Spain, and then we went to visit his father. We got there, and we stood there for a couple of hours, chit-chatting with his father, and then his father asked us to clean out this room. He said, "Can you take out all the stuff that's there? And most of it is junk." Okay, we'll go there and help his father. He was an old man at the time.
Dante, how old was he?
At the time he was, I think, 68 or 69.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Now he's in his 70s. And so we went there, and we thought we would find, maybe 4 or 5 plastic bags with garbage. Instead, we found dozens and dozens and dozens of boxes with lots of documents and loose papers and all kinds of stuff. So we started looking at it, and some of them were quite interesting because they had the old USSR stamp, the hammer and everything, and okay, this might have some historical interest. And so we went back to him and we asked if we could keep the boxes instead of chucking them. And he said, sure. So we had to rent a truck to take all the boxes back home, and that's what happened.
Okay, now he do you think he knew what you were going to find up there? I'm not talking about the particular book, but the fact that you would find documents and stuff like that, rather than, as you said, paper bags of junk.
Oh, he knew that there was stuff that was important to him at one time.
Yeah.
Months later, then we were talking, and he told us that he didn't know that the Alien Races book was there. He thought he had put it somewhere else, so he didn't know it was there. But
okay, let me stop you there for a minute. Let me stop you there. So, when he finally found out that you had this book, did he panic, or did he say, "Oh my God, you shouldn't have that," or what was his reaction?
No, he didn't panic.
Okay.
He was calm.
Okay.
He knew that he didn't have the book anymore, but he wasn't panicked or anything. And so we took the boxes home, and little by little we went through some of the boxes. It was a rush, you know. It was not a priority for us. We just had interest in what was in the boxes. And we went through the boxes, and after a few months, because we only got together like 2-3 times a month, after a few months we came across the Alien Races book. In fact, first we came across this page, the front page of one of the editions of the Alien Races book, dated 1951. But there was nothing to the book. There was only the front page. We found that interesting, but that's all we had. Later, we found the book.
Now, what did the book look like? I mean, was it a hardback type thing? Describe the book for us physically. What did it look like?
The page, the front page that we found from that 1951 edition, that was hardcover, thick, and like you can imagine an old book looks like. This one was noticeably more modern. It was a thicker cover, but not like the other one. It was not like like an old book. It had a modern appearance.
So like you were looking now at a revised book, maybe?
Yeah. In fact, we found out later that the book has been edited several times, revised several times. Things have been added to it, and made more modern and updated like that. Yeah.
Okay, so you find this book, and you and Petro start looking into it. Is that you start reading it?
Well, he started reading it because the book was in Russian, and he is Ukrainian.
Okay.
Because he passed away, but he was Ukrainian, so he knew Russian quite well. I didn't. So we started looking at it, and what we did was he would translate from Russian to Ukrainian, and then he talk to me in Italian or in Portuguese, because he speaks both and I speak both, and then I will start writing it in English.
So what's your reaction now? What kind of reaction do you have with all of a sudden you start translating this book? I mean, are your eyes about to pop out of your head?
No, not at the beginning. We found it curious. So a curious read. At the time when we first found the book, we didn't contact his father right away. We just started looking at it. What was the source? So we just started looking at it and reading. We went through it in one day. Went for a couple of pages, then the weekend after a few more pages, until we called his father. That's when we started taking this subject more seriously, because we called him, and he said, "Oh, that's where the book is. I didn't know. I forgot about it. I tried to find it. I couldn't find it. I thought I would maybe misplaced it, but so you guys have it. So what you're doing with it, And so we start talking, and they told us lots of things that are written in the first pages of the book. We wrote some notes there that it was in fact a book given to the Smersh agents, and that has been updated over and over again. Not only information, but the pictures and the people involved, and that's how he ended up with it. Because before the collapse of the USSR, he was involved with the Communist Party in Russia and the Ukraine, and that's how he eventually got the book.
Okay, you know, there's you've got something on the beginning of that book, and also we should have, as we're speaking, a link to that book up so that you can follow along with us here. But there's a pretty strong warning in the beginning of that book to these agents for letting this book get out of their hands and into the wrong hands. You want to talk about that a second?
Yeah, well, when we talked, that was actually on the book. That was not like a note that we added to the book.
No, I understand, yeah.
And apparently there were not a lot of people involved with the book. The book was more of like a manual so that they know what to do, and they for them to be informed of what they're dealing with and to add to it. That was their role, these SMERSH agents. So they were, by what we know, there was only a very, very few agents that were part of this project, and that had this book with them at all times.
All right, let me see if I can summarize this, and you tell me if this is a correct appraisal of this. This book was given to a small number of Soviet agents. It was kind of a handbook about the alien races, and their job was to, when they ran across an opportunity to investigate this further, to add to this book, right?
Yeah, to investigate every case, any sighting, any incident involving. There's even one example right at the beginning of the book that of one incident of these girls that disappeared. So they wanted the heads of the SMERSH wanted these officers, these secret agents, to investigate every incident that kind of related to that incident where the girl disappeared. Because as far as we know, this was still in the beginning of alien investigation, so they weren't exactly sure of what they're dealing with. That's the idea that we have. So they just wanted to gather any kind of information and add to the book at the time.
There was a few more kind of interesting incidents in that book, and I think I read one where one of the famous disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, where I think it was the Mary Celeste, the ship that the crew and everybody disappeared. They just found the ship and all its cargo. Do you remember that?
Yeah. There's several different incidents that are mentioned in the book. That's one of them. And further into the book, there's a mention of one of the alien races that has a permanent base there. They think they're the ones involved, and the Mary Celeste and many others.
In this particular case, in the book, it says that the wife of the captain of the Mary Celeste turned up in 1947, and where? Like, was it Sweden, or where was it? Denmark, maybe?
It was in a Nordic country, yes.
And eventually she committed suicide, I guess.
Yeah, that happens a lot to people that get involved with this subject.
When she reappeared in 1947, it was many, many, many years later, and of course everything had changed. The way people dress, the inventions and everything else, and I think it was probably too much. But let's get back to the book, okay? You've found this book. You've got it translated. How long did you carry this book around with you until you decided to put this book up and put it on the internet?
Well, we started translating it maybe early 2009, little by little, and then I had a YouTube channel, not this one that I have now, a previous one that was deleted. And
who deleted it? Who deleted it?
Well, it wasn't me.
Okay, it wasn't you.
No, I posted the video one day last year around 4 in the morning. At the time, I didn't have any copyright warnings or anything on my channel, and I posted a video about it, showing the original book, pages of the original book, because we have the original, and now we made copies. But I posted a video around 4 in the morning. I watched it, the views going up, and when the views were at about 150 views, I fell asleep. I went to bed. About 2 hours later, I came back, and the channel had been deleted.
Now, who could delete that? Who would be capable of doing that?
Anyone with access to the YouTube information, anyone else. It's easier for the military, the secret services, NSA or any other, to do it.
Okay, but if I wanted to do it from my computer, I couldn't delete that, could I?
No.
Okay, so it had to be...
Unless you're like a computer genius.
Which anyone who knows me will tell you that is absolutely absurd. But
no. And the interesting thing is that the week prior to my channel being deleted, I received a few... I don't know who the person was. I received some emails from someone. I know it was in a Nordic country, but I don't know which one. I received these emails of people saying that the Canadian Armed Forces have been checking out my channel, reading my stuff, that they were hacking into my channel, the Canadian Armed Forces. And not the Americans, not the Chinese, not the Russians, the Canadians. And so that was interesting. And then the channel got deleted. But, I don't know if it's related or not. I'm just telling you what.
Yeah. Okay, so now, but you now have tell us about, how do we go to your channel now? What is it now? How do we get there?
Well, if you type one Santori, SANTORI, all in caps, you'll find it. Or if you put in Azazel, AZAZEL 8867, you'll find it too.
Okay, one Santori.
Yeah.
You can find it that way. And what is on your channel?
Well, there's, of course, information about the Alien Races book. There's a 2-hour video that I put together a while ago showing the 58 alien races that are on the book, and other kind of information or alien footage, UFO footage, and other kinds of interesting subjects that are not what you usually find on mainstream media.
Okay. Dante, are you making any money off that website?
No, nothing.
So after this happened, were you into this UFO thing before? Were you fascinated before that you found this book?
Yes.
Okay, so you
on and off. I was always very interested, but it was not my main thing in life.
Okay.
I was very interested about UFOs and aliens when I was a teenager. But then, life got in the way, jobs, military, wife, kids, and I would read stuff about it and watch some videos about it here and there, but it was not my main thing in life, my main interest.
So how has this
happened?
How has this changed your life now that you found this book and you've gotten into this?
Well, the thing it has not changed my life that much, except I spent a lot of time in front of the computer, which is not my favorite thing to do. But the thing that changed me the most was the fact that Petro died in a car accident while we were going to meet and talk about the Alien Races book, and he was bringing me the original, and he died in a car accident. So that's the thing that marked me the most, because I lost a good friend because of this.
So Petro, when you were going to meet, and he was bringing you the original copy of the book, he was bringing you what kind of copy?
The original, the one that we found in the box.
And on his way, he got killed in an automobile accident?
Yes, we planned to meet at a certain place around 7, I think, or 7 a.m., and I got there a bit late, and there was a big commotion. There was the police there, and there was a car upside down, and I found out eventually that was him, that had died in a car accident.
Okay, here's $1 million question. Was the book with him?
Yeah, the original was, yeah.
I mean, the book was in the car?
It was in the car, yeah, because we kept passing the book hand to hand, I would have it for a few weeks, he'd have it for a few weeks.
I
I
understand that,
but we also have copies in different places.
But when the accident happened, you were able to go get the original copy out of that car, right?
I approached the car, and I checked the car. The police was there, so I couldn't really do a big investigation like CSI, But I identified myself and said I'm a good friend, and he has no family here, so I'm the only person he has around here, and if I could have a look in the car, and one of the officers let me, and the book was gone, the original. But
it was gone.
Copies,
so the book was gone, right?
The book, yeah, was gone. But we already had copies made by them. So.
Yeah. Well, that is quite strange, I think.
Not making I'm not saying that it's someone killed him or caused that accident in order to steal the book. There's many ways to steal things. You had to come up with an accident. Hopefully you die in an accident, But it's just strange that someone took it, that's all.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Gosh, I've got a lot of questions to ask you about the book, and I really hope that if you're listening, you're following along with this book, and we put a link up here so that you can follow along. But interesting thing I found out about it in this book, you mentioned the fact that a couple of these alien races actually showed up in Hollywood movies.
Yeah. There's 2 races mentioned in the book, and according to the book, were the inspiration for the alien race that's on the movie Independence Day. And me and Petru, we thought maybe at one time we were like, this doesn't make any sense because there's 2 races, and the book claims that they were both used as inspiration for the race on the Independence Day movie. But we decided we'll just translate everything and show it, although even if it doesn't make any sense, it shows 2 different races as inspiration, but they kind of look alike, so we show them, and we decide to publish it like that, and people can decide. Now, one of the images of one of those 2 races, it's quite recent, because, like I said, they update the book often, and they use images from some are drawings from witnesses to describe any given race, one race. Others, they use images that either from movies, video games, so whatever. When they talk with a witness or 2 or 3, and they make a case about a race, they need an image. They usually, not all of them have, but most of them, they need an image to describe the race. And so they used images from alien races from movies, video games, and sometimes, obviously, just the drawings from witnesses. Now, one of those races that is mentioned as the inspiration for the Independence Day alien race has an image that is quite recent. But the other one is 8 years older than the Independence Day movie. So that's the info on that.
It really is fascinating. You have you found yourself trying to get a hold of everything you can get a hold of to study some of this stuff now?
Excuse me? I didn't understand that.
Okay. After you got this book and you read it and saw all these 8 different alien races, have you found yourself trying to get more material to research this stuff, to corroborate any of this stuff?
Oh, yes. Well, first of all, like I said, there was many boxes that we got. I think it was 58 or 59 boxes, and we know that a lot of the documents in those boxes have things that are related to alien activity. A lot of other papers that are there have nothing to do. And there's papers there that are just like an order for someone to buy caviar for some meeting, or people ordering paper for the office, or paper clips. There's all kinds of documents there, but some are about aliens and UFO activity. But we translated maybe 2% of the papers that are there, because our main thing was to translate the book. And like I said, we didn't get together every day or anything like that. We had our own lives. So we started just focusing on the book. Now, yes, eventually I started looking more and more and more, not only on the internet, but going to libraries and trying to have to confirm some of the dates and events that are on the book, to confirm with other literature, other information. And the interesting thing, what is one of the things that I found most important, is that not too long ago, recently, in South America, these archaeologists found this pottery. They were digging somewhere, and they found this pottery. I have a video about that on my channel, by the way, where I show everything. They found these pieces of pottery that they put together, and this is in South America. Well, those pieces show Sumerian design, not South American, nothing to do with Mayans or Aztecs or none of those Indo-American civilizations, but Sumerian styled drawings and images on the pottery. But not only that, on the sides of the pottery, there's a word that keeps on coming up, which is the word Kurs, K-U-R-S. Well, the Alien Races book mentions a race called Kurs, K-U-R-S. And these pieces of pottery were found after I started releasing information about the book. So these pieces of pottery confirm that at least one of those races that nobody has ever heard before until I start publishing information about the book does exist. So at least that one is...
this Kurs race you're talking about, they worked kind of hand in hand with the Anunnaki, didn't they?
According to the book, what people call Anunnaki, that the book calls Anunnakene, worked close together with this race Kurs, and not only with the race Kurs, but with the race Zeta Reticuli, which most people think Zeta Reticuli are the Greys, but according to the book, they're not. The Greys are another race called Solipsirae. That's what the book says.
It just gets more fascinating by the minute, doesn't it? And now you published this book about the alien races, and you published the book. You could have made a lot of money, but why didn't you?
Well, not a lot of money, but when I first started publishing information, I made a video a while ago showing, I think it was 7 races, and immediately, not immediately, but about 6 weeks later, I started getting messages from publishing companies. And over a period of a year and a half, we got approached by email, of course, by 12 or 13 publishing companies asking if we were interested on publishing the book with them. 2 or 3 of those made concrete offers. I think the first offer was about $5,000, and then another one offered $12,000, and finally one offered about $30,000. That's it. We thought about it, not because of the money, but because we thought that a publishing company has other tools to publicize the book, the information that we didn't have. A publishing company could expose this information at a higher radius, could make this worldwide event fast, because sometimes books go viral fast, It's like a video. And we didn't. We just had to. We were just two guys translating this, and hopefully we'd make some videos on YouTube showing this information. But the problem, we talked about it, and we thought, well, it would be a good idea for a company like this to publish the book. However, there's some problems. First, once we allow them to do that, I'm sure that we'd have to, sign a lot of documents for them to have the copyright to the book. And what could happen? They could change the content of the book, or maybe the company could change hands, and they would drop off the project. They would not publish the Alien Races book, and then we couldn't either, because we gave them the right, to publish the book. So we thought, well, no, because if we lose control of this, then this might never see the light of day, Decided not to sell the rights to the book.
Yeah, my question would be, and I think it's an interesting one, is that who really is the rightful owner of a book that was published by the Soviet government as a guide to their agents about alien races?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's the Russian government. Whatever this book has been written and updated and re-edited since the USSR days, since the 1940s. When the USSR collapsed, everything now belongs to the Russian government. So obviously it will be the Russian government. Having said that, the images that are on the book, not all of them, of course, but some of them, they don't have the copyright, because they took them from video games or movies, But I don't think they're very worried about that. So they just put whatever. Plus, the book is not supposed to be public. So there was copyrights was not an issue for them if the book was not supposed to be public. So obviously, that belongs to the Russian government. Having said that, right now there's 2 European countries that I cannot enter over this. Yeah, and I was already approached. That was about a year ago, kind of.
Can you tell us who they are?
And now I don't want to right now. They're Eastern European countries.
But why can you not enter?
Because I was warned not to go there.
Yeah, but I mean, was there a reason?
Yeah, because of the Alien Races book and what I did. This came through Petro's family.
Okay.
They live in Ukraine, and someone approached Petro's cousins and Petro's family, and they left some notes, let's say, like that.
Okay, that goes back.
And there's the rumor, but that I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but there's the rumor from one of Petro's cousins that there's actually an arrest warrant for me. I don't know what the grounds are. I've heard it was copywriting. I don't know.
Okay. That goes back to the original warning that you can see at the beginning of the book about any one of those agents in that book getting out of their hands and into somebody else's hands. So if I were you, and I think you have, I would take that warning very seriously.
Well, I'm not too afraid. It's not very hard to kill someone these days, eh?
No, it's a piece of cake.
If they wanted to kill me, I'm sure they could have killed me. some of these things come up, these threats from time to time, because either do something about it or stop talking.
This whole thing with you was made possible by the work of Robin Adams, who worked diligently to get in touch with you and get this interview lined up. And she had a question she wanted me to ask you, and that is, when you looked at all those handwritten notes in the original copy, how did you decide which one of those would be included in the book? And is there a plan to publish all of the notes at this time?
Well, we just there's hundreds. There were hundreds of notes on the book, on the sides. Some were written right on the book. Others were attached to the book by clips or stapled to the book. Also photos, some original photos. And we had to choose. We didn't want the book to be like the size of the Old Testament. We wanted to be something that would be accessible and not scary for people. When people see a really fat book, they lose the interest. We're in the age of videos, not books, So we wanted to be something, just the most important information. Of course, the whole book is there, I published the whole book, but when it comes to notes, just what was most important to us to show. And now the rest of the notes, well, maybe one day. Yeah. Well, people ask me that a lot, but
you did a great.
Working alone, and now I am, and I don't know Russian, eh?
Yeah. You got a little problem there, but you did a good job. Did a great job, actually. The book itself is an easy read. It's not that long, but once you start, I'm going to warn you, you won't put it down, because it's not one of those things you want to have something you got to do in 15 minutes, because you won't get there. You'll stay with that book. It's that interesting. Dante, you're really a fascinating guy. We talked a little bit before the interview today and got to know you, and you said you were going to be nervous before this interview, but I didn't hear it. You did great. I think you did a great job, and we hope that we can help get this information out there a little bit anyway. And whether you believe in it or not, Dante will say that right off the bat. Look, I found this book. Here's what we found, and here's what's in it. Believe as you will. Is that pretty much what you think, Dante?
Yes, I've always said that to the many people that have contacted me. I read a lot and I watch a lot of videos, mainly on YouTube, and everybody thinks they're right, and they do not accept anything that's against their view, whether it be UFOs or aliens, Illuminati, and everything. They know because they've watched so many videos that they got their mind made up. The book, I never said that. To me, I believe in what's in the book, because and people that read the book will see why, because there's a lot of facts that confirm the book, including the pottery case one that I just told you about. I believe because the provenance of the book is good, the people involved are serious people, and so I believe. Now, I never said that all the information in the book is real. I don't know. I'm just showing you what's in the book. The book exists. The book is real. The people involved in this book are not lying, and they exist, and they are real, and they are serious. Now, if everything that's in the book is real, I don't know. I believe it is. Many people do, but everyone can read the book now for free and make up their minds.
We'll go to your website one more time in just a minute to let people know again how they can read that right on the internet. You've been a great guest. It's been a lot of fun talking to you, and wish you the best of luck. And anything we can do for you in the future, let us know, because it was very nice of you to take time, a part of your day. And you haven't done an interview before. We're the first, aren't we?
Yeah, I got many requests, but I didn't accept any.
Well, we thank you for making us your first interview. And I don't want to let you go, though, before I ask about one more thing, if you did any research on this, because there was I'm fascinated by the Egyptians to begin with, and the pyramids, like everybody else, I guess. But there was a section in that book about an alien race that visited Egypt that really, they were the stimulus for the elongated heads that the Egyptians actually fashioned in their babies when they were being born, and they got fascinated by this elongated head. And this goes back to this alien race that I'd like you to talk about for a second.
Yeah. So when the Anunnaki or Anunnakene left our planet, they created subspecies of the Zeta in order to keep a presence, like a middleman between them and what was going on this planet. They created a subspecies of the Zeta, and they created them in a way to, number one, to make them look more human than the appearance they had. Number two, although making them looking more human, still with differences, so that the people at the time, before the Anunnaki left, knew that they were not humans. They were actually their representatives, the representatives of the Anunnaki on Earth. And they, that subspecies of the Zeta, eventually became the first rulers of Egypt, pharaohs and other names. And they became the first rulers, and that's why the elongated heads exist. And then that image was, humans tried to imitate by elongating the skulls so that they would look like the gods, or the representatives of the gods.
Right.
That alien race.
Yeah, I found that fascinating, and just one of the many pages in that book that you just can't stop reading. But and that pharaoh's name, do you remember the pharaoh's name that actually was the alien ruler?
I can't remember. Sorry, I have too much information in my brain, and I don't have very good memory.
Well, I don't have a lot in mine. I got plenty of room here, so. Anyway, Dante, it's been great talking to you. And again, now give us your link so we can find this. You find out more about you and about what you're studying right now.
Yeah, and what I'd like to say is for people not to forget to read till the end, because at the end, in a section called "She," that to me is the most important part of the book.
We've got time. Tell us about that.
Well, that it's pretty much the secret of creation, according to the alien races. That actually the image that at least the Western world have of a creator as being a male, it's actually not a male; it's a female, and all aliens agree, all alien races agree with that. Even the ones that don't like the idea or want to replace that, all agree that the creator of everything, it was a female entity. On Earth, over time, many different civilizations adore that female entity. Depending on different civilizations, areas of the world, they call it different names. Goddess Diana, for example. How can I explain this better?
Take your time.
They also call her Isis, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Green Tara. Depends. Every religion in the world has a female goddess in the past, and then eventually man corrupted that image of the female creator into a male Ren and male Ren religion. Happened with pretty much every religion. They switched the female version, the original version, which was given to us by aliens, that the creator was a female, and turned into men, into a male figure. You can see on the book, even there's several images, that all religions nowadays, all of them that are ran by men, they wear some sort of a robe, of a skirt, of accessories. That's all relating to the goddess. That's why you see the Pope in a robe, and you see that with Muslims. You see that with Jewish people. You see that Hinduism, Buddhism. You see them all. You see them in Japan, many temples. They all have robes. They don't have pants. They all have robes, skirt-like outfits, and that all goes to the first idea of the creator of the universe being a female. So now all these religions, although they turn into male-dominated, male-created universe, they all kept that image that they're trying to replicate, even if it's subconsciously, of the female goddess. That's why they use those robes. That's just one aspect. It's more complex than this. It's just, I said this in order to explain a little bit of what's going on there.
And this is at the end of the book, right?
That's at the end, yeah.
Okay, Dante, tell me again about your websites, how people can visit you and read the book and other things that you've got on that website.
Well, I'm not very easily accessible. I don't have many websites. I have my YouTube channel. I wanted to add something, if I may.
Sure.
Since I published the book, there are many websites out there and Facebook pages and in all kinds of places that claim to be me, and they're asking for donations, saying that they're trying to pass for me. So they ask for donations. They answer questions as if it was me, and people believe it was me because they know everything about me, from my channels. So, to be very clear, there's only 3 ways you can contact me and know for sure that you're talking with me. One is by phone, if I give my phone number to you. The other one is by email, and my email address is on the book on one of the first pages, or on my YouTube channel. Outside those 3 choices, phone, email, or YouTube, you're not talking to me for sure.
Okay, and again, how do we get to the YouTube?
So you search 1, the number 1, and then Santori, Santori, 1 Santori, or AZEL 8867, and both will take you to the same page. So,
Introduction to the Alien Races book, and you can read it, and you can read it, and you can read it. It's more than fascinating. Fascinating. Thanks again for being with us, all right?
Can you feel it? A sort of anticipation growing stronger and stronger? Another way of putting it is time is speeding up. I've heard that discussion for a while now. I know most people have felt it at some point, maybe while watching the news or perhaps something in their own lives. Something big is about to happen.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
The way Bush has done it over the last 8 years, added $4 trillion by his lonesome, that's irresponsible. It's unpatriotic.